A certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the share of the property that belongs to me." So he divided his wealth between them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had together. He set off for a distant country, and there he squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, a severe famine struck that land, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him into his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have food enough and to spare? I will go to my father. I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you, and am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.'" So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran to his son, hugged him, and kissed him. The son said, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight, and am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father said to his servants, "Bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. And bring the fattened calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." And they began to celebrate. Now his older son was in the field, and as he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked him what these things meant. And he said to him, "Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has received him back safe and sound." And he was angry and would not go in. So his father came out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father and said, in response, "Look, all these years I have served you. I never disobeyed your command, yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But as soon as this son of yours came, who has squandered your wealth with prostitutes, you killed the fattened calf for him." And he said to him, "Son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. It was right for us to celebrate and be glad. For this reason, your brother was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.
You just watched the parable of the prodigal son, a story that you can find in the book of Luke. And in preparation for our Sunday of Reconciliation on November the 16th, today we're talking about this powerful story of forgiveness, reconciliation, redemption, and a father reconnecting with his son and the son reconnecting with his father, the story of the prodigal son. And everything changed. Everything turned for the better in the moment when he stopped using his emotion and he started using intelligent faith. Let's read here together. Finally, he came to his senses and he said, "How many of my father's hired servants have plenty of food, but here I am starving to death?" I want you to focus on the word "he came to his senses." And I believe that was the turning point. The change happened when he came to his senses. So what I understand is that he was appealing to emotion. He must have carried in his mind monsters. He must have carried in his heart guilt. He must have felt insecure to go back to admit his wrong because he messed up. And this is very dangerous for us to create an idea in our mind about other people. It can be friends, family members, people at work. In short, you think that a person has an opinion about you because of a misunderstanding, a fallout, a separation, a divorce. And you carry this in your life. And as long as you carry this in your life, there's no way to restore the relationship because you created a barrier, you created a wall, because you think you know how that person feels about you, which can be very far from the truth because the only way for you to find out how that person feels about you is for you to ask them in person, not to go by hearsay, not to go by what you feel, what you think, but for you to communicate with that person and find out for yourself. And the reason why he did not take an action earlier, he could have resolved the problem easily, but the problem was postponed, was because he was leaning towards feelings and emotions, and he allowed his emotions to dictate and control his thinking process. When he came to his senses, when he switched off bad emotions, bad feelings, and he switched on intelligent faith, reason, yeah, every father loves his children, no matter how much they have messed up. Even if their children end up in prison, parents go to visit their children, even in prison. Parents, they want the best for their children. They forgive their children. They want their children back home. Any parent you talk to, they are very much inclined to understand their kids because their kids are younger and they want their kids back no matter what they have done. Sometimes the children cannot see that because they are haunted by their guilt, by their mistakes. And maybe you are watching today, you have experienced something like this in your life. And you can share about it in the comment section. Maybe there was a moment in your life that you felt unworthy, you felt insecure, you made mistakes, and you thought that the relationship that you had with someone was beyond repair, irreparable. Maybe even worse, that you think that your relationship with God is beyond repair, and you are wrong. This story today proves that you're mistaken. Every father wants to have a relationship with their children, including God, no matter how big you have messed up.
I think about the quote, a mother is always a mother, right? And I have seen mothers that whose children have messed up a lot. Even in my family, I have seen that. But the moment the child asks for help, the mother, the father is like they forget everything that happened, and they just with open arms receive the child. But you see, there is always one condition. Like he came to his senses, and then he started to think, oh, my father's servants, they don't like anything, and here I am eating from the pig's food. Then he put in his mind, let me go back to my father to ask to be a servant. So when he put himself in a position of a servant, meaning humbleness, then the father took him straight away. The moment the father saw him far away, he already went after him.
Okay, the reconciliation, the reconnection with his father started with the son. He took the first step. He moved away from where he was. He moved towards his father. Maybe it was hard and difficult to overcome his insecurity, to overcome the guilt, the shame, but he took the first step. When he took the first step, it wasn't difficult because the moment the father saw him, he welcomed him with open arms. And if you're watching today, if you have created in your mind a monster, you see no way that you can restore the relationship between you and yourself and God, or yourself, your husband, your wife, your children, your parents, I want you to know that there is a way for you to reconnect and to find redemption and reconciliation. The only thing that you need to do is to take the first step. Okay? For more information about our Sunday of Reconciliation, you can scan the QR code, get in touch with us. We're open 7 days a week. And you can speak to our prayer team. We'll be waiting on the other side of the line, ready to listen to your story. No matter how difficult it may be, there's always a way together with God. All right? We're going to be back again tomorrow talking about the story of the prodigal son. Join us again. Thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.
God bless.